So for forestry roads, whenever you leave the highway, typically you'll see a sign that looks like this. It'll tell you the road channel, that's the RR14 channel there. It'll tell you where you are, and it'll tell you what to call. Generally, for forestry roads, you call even kilometers on the way up, so that would be kilometer 0, then kilometer 2, kilometer 4. On the way down, you would call odd kilometers, so kilometer 3, kilometer 1. So you can see in this case, when I'm going up the road, I only call the must call signs though, and when I'm going down, I call all the odd kilometers. Different roads all have different rules, so it's important to read the sign, and that will let you call correctly when you're going up the road. When you're calling kilometers, it's important to think about what you're going to say before you press your mic button on your radio. You want to aim to be clear, be concise, and be correct. By clear, I mean talk at an even pace, don't talk too fast. Concise, don't add extra information. And correct, meaning call the right kilometer, because if you call the kilometer you're not at, that's not helping anybody out. When I'm calling on and up, I'll say something like, pick up on and up Wildmere at 0. That way everyone knows where I'm coming onto the road, what sort of vehicle I'm driving, and which road I'm on. It's important to say the name of the road you're on every now and then, because if you're on the wrong channel by mistake, someone can help you and you can get the right channel. It's also important because in some areas, different roads have the same channel, and if somebody assumes you're on a different road than them, you could cause a collision. Some radios have a bit of a lag. That lag means you have to press the button first, wait a half a second or so, and then talk, because otherwise the first thing you say will be cut off. For that reason, I like to put the kilometer I'm at in the middle of my transmission in case either the start or the end of it gets cut off. So instead of saying 14 down, I'll say Moberly down 14, pickup. If I cut off pickup or Moberly, I don't really care because I'll say it next time and everyone kind of knows what's going on. But the kilometer is the most important part, so I'll try and put that in the middle so that will never get cut off. Okay, so some trucks have truck radios. Other trucks will only have a handheld radio. A truck radio is powered by the pickup truck and has a big antenna, as you can see. So it will transmit and receive information from much, much farther away than a handheld radio can. Because of this, you need to assume if you have a handheld radio, other drivers might not be able to hear you until they're almost on top of you. When you adjust your radio, there are a couple settings you're going to care about. For this particular radio, there's the volume and the squelch. When I turn on the radio, if I turn the squelch all the way down, as you can hear, it gets really messy. This is like a filter. The higher I turn up my squelch, the more the radio is going to filter all the transmissions. But the more I filter the transmissions, the harder it's going to be for me to hear someone far away. Once I get on the correct channels, you can see RR14 is the correct channel for the road I'm on. I'm going to turn my squelch down until I start to hear static. Once I get a lot of static, I'll turn it up just a little bit till it's quiet, and that's where I'll leave it. On a different channel, I might need either more or less squelch, depending on how busy it is. For the volume, make sure your volume's not set down low, because other people will be able to hear you, but you can't hear them. So if you're missing calls, if you're seeing trucks that look angry at you, make sure your volume's not set too low. One thing that really screws up communications on bush roads is if you're playing your tunes too loud while you're trying to call. The other thing to watch with these is don't talk to them at arm's length. Put them 2 or 3 inches in front of your mouth and then talk into the microphone. That way you'll come through much more clear and the other drivers will like you a lot more. A couple other things to watch on bush roads. If there is down traffic generally has the right of way over up traffic. That means you need to get out of the way for down traffic. The best place to get out of the way is at a pullout. So if you hear a log truck coming and he's 2 kilometers away, let's say, that's when you should start looking for a pullout. Some roads, there's a lot of distance in between the pullouts, so you got to grab them when you can. Other roads are wide and you can sort of squeeze by, but in general, it's always safer and better to grab a pullout early on than risk a collision later on. Another thing to watch when you're driving on bush roads is call when you're off the road. I call clear and off to show that I've left the road, either into a block or up a different road. And I'll call clear at blah, blah, blah kilometer to show that I've cleared for down traffic. This allows the down traffic, which is usually a heavy truck of some sort, either a logger or a low bed, to feel safe as they're driving down because they know that they're not going to risk colliding with my vehicle.